Hello again, and welcome back. On pages 90 and 91 in his book, Why Not Full-preterism, Steve Gregg discusses Luke 21, verse 22, where Jesus says, "For these are the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled." Gregg writes, quote, "Full-preterists often cite this verse to support their idea that every prediction in the Bible was fulfilled by AD 70. However, not every prediction in the Bible had been spoken or written when Jesus referred to all these things which are written," end quote. Now, Gregg goes on to say that because not one line of the New Testament had been written when Jesus spoke these words, Jesus could only have been referring to the Old Testament. Now, he concludes that we cannot, quote, honestly apply this time reference to any prophecies given later by Jesus or the apostles. Now, listen carefully. Gregg is technically correct about one thing. The New Testament hadn't been written the moment Jesus spoke. But this is where Gregg gets caught in his own craftiness. Job 5:13. Gregg is trying to lock the fulfillment to the moment the words were spoken. But Jesus wasn't talking about the day he was speaking. He was talking about the, quote, days of vengeance, end quote, the Roman siege of Jerusalem. Now let's look at the text Gregg is trying to dismiss. In Luke 21, Jesus provides a specific time indicator. He says in verse 20, quote, "But when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then know that its desolation is near." He then says in verse 22, quote, "For these are the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled." The days of vengeance refers to the destruction of Jerusalem in AD 70. Now, here is the question Steve Gregg avoids. By the time those days of vengeance arrived in AD 70, had the New Testament been written? The answer is a resounding yes. By the time the Roman army surrounded the city, the Gospels had been circulated, the epistles of Paul had been written, and the warnings of the apostles had been delivered to the church. When the days of vengeance finally came, they came to fulfill everything that stood written at that time. Jesus was not limited by a calendar of when ink hit the parchment. He was declaring a climax to the entire redemptive historical story. By AD 70, the Old Covenant was passing away, and every word of the New Covenant regarding that judgment had been recorded. Steve Gregg claims we cannot honestly apply Jesus' words to later prophecies. I would argue that we cannot honestly ignore the timing of the event itself. If Jesus said the destruction of Jerusalem would fulfill all things written, and that destruction happened in AD 70, after the New Testament was written, then the full preterist position isn't just a theory. It is the only conclusion that honors the words of Christ. So please, don't let creedal and traditional presuppositions cloud the clear testimony of Scripture. The days of vengeance happened exactly when he said they would, fulfilling exactly what he said they would. Now, thanks for watching. Please post your comments, and please like and share the video. And by all means, keep searching the scriptures prayerfully and ask for discernment to recognize fallacious craftiness often delivered by debaters. For now, I'm out.